Considering we had.
Kelsey, do we recall approximately how many days, not shifts or just days we were open last year?
Last year, we had at least 2 more weeks than we
And we
did this
only
year.
brought in 94,000.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, that's gross, 94,000.
yeah.
So that 58 is
So
excellent.
we definitely
But
did
rates
well
were
for
up
what we
this year,
had.
too.
I know, but I'm still even saying that. No, they were.
No, they're the same last year.
No, they were saying-
Yeah, they
Yeah.
want-
Okay.
And granted, we're, one session we take out because it's Lions Cup, so that doesn't even
So
count.
Lions Club got their race, or their session, I should say,
Yeah.
and they were very happy to do so this year.
Tell me about claims, still only 2 that are
Just-
potential
Just two,
and nothing filed
no.
formally yet,
no,
okay,
one of them was a younger girl. I think she ended up sitting on one of the rungs of the toboggan. And she came and the father came up to Willis and said she was complaining, so Willis just had her fill out, or had the father fill out the form. Just in case, and then another gentleman had. Going down, but you're to hold on to your riding partners, and for some reason he couldn't, and it was because he was inebriated.
well,
Cause I
okay.
can smell it on.
How about numbers of applicants for our job openings?
8
As of today.
as of today, should be 9. But we haven't received the 9th one.
Okay,
Can we just circle back, so if you make that observation,
yeah, you shouldn't.
do you note that? Within the sort of,
I noticed it when I came, I was retrieving all the stuff, cause it was at the end of the session. I was retrieving the stuff out, lights and everything, and I came in, they were standing there, and he's like, this gentleman's complaining. So I went up and spoke to him, and then I could tell right away.
so, but I'm saying, have you documented that observation?
It's in the paperwork.
Oh, it's in the middle, okay.
It's not, you know, because technically, so when it comes down to that, unless you're trained to observe, which I have been for 13 years, but it does lapse. You can't determine that without the training. So if you wanted to, you could have a officer come down while you file that, and the officer can state the fact that due to their training,
You didn't think it was pertinent, like.
he had some scratches on his hand and a bump.
So it's not like he like was hurting his back or something?
No,
like that?
no. So I gave him, I said, this is where you can go to seek medical treatment if you'd like. Here's the address. I don't suggest either of you drive.
And it was clear he didn't listen to what they told him at the time, because they tell you to hang on and they tell you, and it's posted everywhere.
Okay.
Keep your arms length, yada, yada.
So you think in the future, more extreme cases, you would identify local PD to come down?
Yeah,
You're only in the most extreme.
that way, you know,
Yeah.
if you can smell it to the extent in which I did, they can come in and they can do a report on their side that an injury had occurred while taking the report. They determined
Okay.
that there was some alcohol involved, and that would just further protect us.
You did mention that you walked by, there was a group of them, where I'm just playing television fraternity here. There were.
It's not that all, I trust
That's right. My jurisprudence thing, yeah. There were other gentlemen with them,
There was 2, it was a couple,
okay,
and when I did the report, we were outside, brought them into the shed in a smaller confined area to determine that I could smell.
so in other
That's
words,
training.
I'm just saying, it's push come to shove.
So he
I'm sure
came in
if
for,
they'd say to the other couple.
it's
on the
done,
road, tell
he
you,
came in,
but they dropped.
it got worse.
Yeah.
So they both were, yes.
Gotcha.
And I could come back around the other way. Why did you rent him a toboggan?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I don't, from where you buy tickets, I mean, you'd have to be like right up, you know. You're kind of here and then they're standing over
And
here.
you hand the toboggan to them, and then when you're working up top, you're setting that moving, so
Yeah.
it's not something that you're going. And then getting them down from there, if they are, isn't an easy way. Really, the easiest thing is to sit on your butt and keep it riding down. So nothing, no calls back, no information. They didn't send a hospital report. I told them, if you do go to the hospital and give you a report, please send us a copy.
I'm sorry, I walked in this started, you had an accident due to somebody being inebriated.
Not an accident, he took his hand off the He's like a little rider.
Hit it between the lanes on his way down.
Bruce,
Some scrapes and a bruise.
did you guys have an incident report?
Yeah.
Can you get a copy to me? Cause that should get recorded. to the
Yeah,
interest.
up in the.
Thank
In
you.
the office, I got the two that were reported, the other one, you weren't here, but it was a young girl, she complained with her butt, her bottom hurt.
Yeah.
And Willis just had the father go.
Yeah.
And yeah, so 8, potentially 10 by the end of Friday, and then I'd like to start interviews next week.
Good, maybe this is the opportunity to ask if you want 1 or 2 board members in on it with you.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt, 2 would be nice, but if we can get 1 at minimum, it'd be fine.
I think I should leave it up to you 4,
I mean,
only because,
when are you gonna start?
So we're done the 2nd technically. So we said we'd run it for 30 days, so that'll be 30 days. So Monday, start contacting and getting scheduled dates, times with everybody, and then as I schedule them, I can email the 4 of you. And
Yeah, I'm just thinking because as we were discussing, I'm going to Elba, not till the 19th.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I'd like
they
to
better be done.
I'd like to have everybody
Other
done.
than a couple Thursdays in there, I'm available on that.
Yeah,
Are
we,
you interviewing everyone? Or are you going to?
No, probably not.
Okay.
There's a.
we've already gone over the, like, we have an idea of which, people we would like to, but we'll obviously keep it open for the next couple of days and. I think we're gonna try to work around their schedules, because a lot of them are still working full-time jobs right now. And it might need to be later on in the day, so we might have like a variety of times, but.
is there a feeling that 1 board member is adequate to
Fine.
work with them, or do you want 2?
I'd say 2.
Well, 2's nice, and 1's
I mean,
better than.
I don't think it fits for me to be one of them, because, well,
Well, you're busy enough, number 1, you're busy enough.
I'm in my last term. And you guys are. You guys are gonna be.
It's almost 2 freaking years he's leaned back already.
Yeah. I'm laying more.
So yeah, I'll get the dates and times, Chelsea and I will both contact people. Get the times and dates when they're available, schedule it out, and then I'll send out.
And the ones we definitely are gonna interview, we get to, right? And then.
Yeah, you give me a copy of
All of them, but
Just
then
tell me which one
we
you
left,
left. Yeah.
Good deal.
That's it.
And
Now
that's
we
it. I gotta go meet somebody who applied. Who I'm trying to push into something. He wants to see the shop.
Yep.
Okay.
He's got it. Yeah, it's
Oh, Good.
Let's start.
He'd be a good one to work. Yes,
What's that?
they worked on that yesterday.
No. Lee and Willis were on it, but then they brought out a whole bunch of stuff to pressure wash the benches to get ready, like tea marker and everything.
Pressure wash the benches?
So. it's-
Inside, yeah.
That doesn't make much.
It's extreme.
Not really, but then we should.
Thank you.
Here.
Oh, and I had Sand Light come out today to take a look at the lower level of the clubhouse. To get up to date lighting that potentially maybe we could do grant wise, because we're all fluorescent,
Yeah.
so. And update.
Good.
And we can hear you from here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. Come on over.
I'm going on vacation.
I'm teaching, I'll take a couple days off.
And I'm the one still got the learning cost, so you're worse off than me.
Try to be healthy, exercise, quit drinking.
And everybody knows why I'm here other than Jason.
Okay.
Bottom line is we had somebody pass away last night. They want to do a burial, blah, blah, blah. We have no winter burial policy. I think we should move forward. We are gonna move forward and do this burial. I mean, there's no snow to remove it. It will make a mess on the sod and whatnot, but in conversation with Emily, and then we got some, is there other avenues that we could address or potentially doing, if you ever got another winter like this where there is no snow, and I don't have the answer to that. I know like today, we just gotta move forward, make the decision. Let's not wait for anybody, we gotta move forward, we're gonna do it, and do we change the policy on winter burials? My opinion is, I'm hoping not, and just keep it the way it is, hopefully this is a chance encounter that we have. I did speak to one of the family members and requested like, upon printing your obituary, please omit funeral services will be at the North Elba Cemetery, they're not gonna mention North Elba Cemetery. And then to my understanding, it's family only, it's supposed to be small, no viewing hours, family only. Emily did. So I just made some bullet points where we discussed and. I really don't know which way to go, I mean, this is like really a quick conversation with what you had of. You know, winter rates and changing winter rates and.
Ken, I mean, after our discussion and everything, the whole point, one of the major points is that why we did it was to, you know, prevent the terrain from being torn up.
Right, that's regardless of any type.
Right, and I don't care what, you know, I don't care if it, basically, since we made it, yes, it's gotten a little warmer and right now there's no snow cover and everything, but that actually makes it worse to me. Because the minute you put any piece of equipment, and there'll be multi pieces of equipment on there.
Yes.
And granted, the location of this particular grave site is favorable for doing it, but with, you know, with snow melt and everything, it even makes it worse. And we talked about this in three times. And the fact is that not only the equipment, but the people, the footsteps,
I
and
walked
even,
today.
yeah, even the site for the people. After Ken gets multiple pieces of equipment, et cetera, and people start going to the grave site. In my own mind, I don't wanna stand around there and do anything, cause I'm gonna be in mud and everything, so it's just not a good situation.
Can we
And
protect the site at all with track, like sheets of plywood or anything like that?
I mean, for the machine, you can, but I mean, we've tried it in the past, we actually had some, they are like metal ramps that we
Yeah.
use, so machine, it's
And it's
just even the
different.
way it makes an impression.
Yeah.
We gotta rent a machine, I take it.
We'll see, our machine is small enough, I mean, ours is a great size, but it's on wheels.
Yeah,
If you had tracks, it definitely disperses the weight differently on the tracks, you know, there's more weight dispersion instead of the tire
Right,
dispersion.
yeah.
So it's a possibility, either way, it's gonna make a mess, and I warned him, I'm like, my phone call was, I'm calling you to try to discourage you, and I was just honest, here's. My sales pitch of what's gonna happen and what to expect, it's not spring, there is no spring cleanup, there's pine needles and could be branches, which we'll try to get cleaned up. But for your family standing around, you could be standing in mud, who
As
knows?
long as they know that up front.
yeah, but as far, you know, I understand, but as far as, I agree with Ken, the fact of. I think we should leave the policy the way it is,
No winter burials, right?
no winter burials.
I would like to adjust the price. Cause there is a winter barrel price in the policy.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a current, existing.
And we talked about this
A
going
little
up.
too low right now, currently it's at $700 and Emily suggested 1,500 and I think that's close, but I'm leaning towards more. I just think really it's more for like not just a fee, but maybe more a discouragement fee. If somebody could save a couple $1,000 by waiting a couple months, you may not have to. Cause here now it's $2,500 and now I'll wait till spring.
For the $1,500. Reimburse the town for any sort of like work that they have to do.
Well, that's dependent on,
See, it may not cover it.
I mean, you don't know, I mean, if you're saying if we're gonna do winter burial and take $1,500, that all depends. Because right now, we're not plowing the whole entire cemetery. Now you're gonna go back to plowing the whole cemetery, because if you're gonna do a winter burial,
think we
you gotta keep it open.
we
You can't
stick with winter.
wait till.
No winter burials,
No,
with the exception, you know, if I kick off, you put me in the ground, I don't care.
You'd be surprised where we're putting you.
What makes you so special then?
Well, I'm in a Chuck Sullivan.
$2,500.
No, like.
I didn't even know
I
what you
wouldn't
were
burial until March, but you plowed it from December, so I mean, does all that labor that you put into it equate to that cost of that one grade that you're doing in March?
But
It does, because.
that policy is supposed to be like still the continuation of no winter burial.
Right.
Yeah, so we don't, did we shoot, why do we put a price?
conditionally, dependent on the weather. I mean, there's a lot of,
But you
variables that
do
go-
not want
But
to
if we
even
make
like
an
that
exception-
policy, because you just.
But I don't wanna make an
flat no
exception,
winter
that's the
barrier.
thing, when,
I
because
mean, if we had
anything
to
else, once you make
we
an
had
exception.
snow, I think this would be.
Everybody's a
a
VIP.
Yeah.
What,
Oh, yeah.
talking about, they want to be home drinking beer.
So why is February 28th, so use ChatGPT or
Yeah.
generate
So what,
so we don't have one in place, so we're lucky.
I think this needs a little bit more
Put one in
discussion
place,
and maybe, maybe.
No, we do have a winter burial,
Your
policy
opinion,
place, there's no
we all
winter
got strong
burials.
opinions.
yeah,
But the thing is,
So-
we're making an exception
Well, for
because,
today-
per Kenny's suggestion, the weather is a little bit, it's not, there's no
I
summer.
wanna thank you for being flexible.
Okay, so yeah,
well, if,
so we were
one,
deciding that
one last
do
point,
this one in particular.
if we do say,
as a-
I would
if
say
we make
take
it
it saying
discretionary to him,
Yeah, but that's what
Okay.
the policy does, is makes it discretionary.
okay, but therefore, if we do make it discretionary, again, for someone in his position. I think whatever price we come up with almost should cover the worst case scenario. And I don't think, I mean, I understand the
But
15.
but if there was 2 feet of snow on the ground, then you wouldn't even be a discussion.
Well, no, but that's the point, but that's, if there's not, and it's like it is now, and the point is, the location of this grave site is such that it's easily accessible and you're not going over other grave sites,
You're
okay?
going over some.
No, we're just going kind of aside, there's actually what we call walkways, like you got a certain area sectioned off, and every now and then you got like this walkway. That we call a walkway where there's no graves allowed within.
But
Luckily, theirs is right off one grave off that walkway, so.
it's not a shade.
No.
No,
So,
But you're just not really.
so that's part of the discretionary process, is where's the grave located?
Right, right, and therefore, if it's the worst case scenario and it's no walkway. It's muck. And you're going across 10 grave sites,
Gotta rent a machine or
you got a
something.
random machine and you're gonna go across every site.
But I'd say at that point, he should make the decision, we're not gonna do it.
Well, I'm just saying,
Let's use this one as, because it's the best case scenario, yes, in the worst situation.
but you know.
How much is this going to cost us? And maybe we can then use that as a baseline for which to set the price at. If we
also know where it
accept-
costs to store a body for 2 months.
But if you're north, nobody, you don't pay it. If you're like, for St. Agnes, we charge St. Agnes a store, but if you're being buried in North Elba, there's no charge.
That's it.
Just stay there. if you want.
Yeah, I mean, you
I
can
thought
live
they-
there if you want, Todd.
I thought they'd be in the fridge at the.
That's just your perspective.
No, they're actually in the low level of the chapel.
Right.
Okay.
So I just circling back, and I know that you had mentioned, that like. When they close that community like Lake Placid, everyone is a VIP, but this individual has done a lot of work for.
Oh,
both
yeah,
the
oh, that's why
buildings
we're
and
considering, that's why.
So that like. I,
It was a bit much for me to hear that she passed away, and as soon as
Yes.
I had heard it, I was like. Mentally, I'm like. This is gonna be a burial,
yeah,
and I remember it's just a family growing up as kids, like how much their whole family did for like the Pee Wee Association growing up, they're always there volunteering their time.
restoring.
Yeah, and it's,
Oh, yeah,
I hate to play that card, but I mean, that is what it is, I mean, out of respect for the family, it's one of those things, and. We're at this point where the weather is cooperating with us to a degree.
to a degree,
Yeah.
yeah, to a degree.
Had there been snow, it'd been a tough. No to say to the Reed family, for sure.
But it actually would have been, just physically speaking, other than digging the grave, it would have been a better scenario. You wouldn't have torn up everything.
How much is
You
it,
can
Bob?
do the fly.
How much is it, Bob?
We just got the plot, you have to have.
How much,
And also.
how was the ground?
I really don't know how much we haven't really.
Yeah,
done
but you're not
anything. The first
going to the
witches,
site,
like I
that's
say,
what
at the top,
everything
everything just
in the
bush.
Way to get to it.
I
But it's
can't
supposed to
imagine
get super
never-
cold tonight and tomorrow, so it's.
Yeah.
So we got a game plan.
Other than that, coming up like what we wanna do in the future if we ever get another one to next week or.
We'll keep this in our back pocket and maybe work on it.
Yeah, are you saying just face this, it's like a
For a
variance?
year.
Speaking Emily. Variance on for.
Good deal.
Chase me out here, but yeah, I just felt like we had to. One of those things like we're inside. Had to do it. I say we had a foot of snow or more, or whether it was.
Oh, yeah,
Said
no.
you didn't know where the grave was, or you had to snowblow to get to it, and start making that mess, I might,
Do you have a date yet? So
it's gonna be next week, they
Okay.
said. Earliest it'd be the 5th.
So that'll negate tomorrow's weather.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I know, I wish, It might get done tomorrow, you never know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, like I said, yeah.
There's some ground sets up.
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna get over the, yes.
Good deal.
That's it, thanks, guys. Thanks, Ken.
Is it my turn? Is that what I'm saying?
You're on.
The person who's getting picks who's next.
We better be these. So I don't have a huge amount, but I know Emily had some stuff she wanted to talk about with DRI, but just before that, so we are wrapping up the survey of the comprehensive plan at the end of the month. I guess we have over 600 responses, completed responses for that. And they're starting to figure out their whole engagement plan for the next couple of months. And similarly for the horse show ground, or not horse show, showground athletic field master plan. We've finalized our list of like stakeholders and we'll be reaching out them sometime in the next few days, hopefully to schedule, they're doing their site visit on the 13th. And hopefully we'll speak with the stakeholders later that afternoon and start working on that. And then the childcare committee, Dean's childcare committee, has finalized their survey and that's ready to go out March 1st. Put out a press release. Yes, March 1st. Roost did the survey up and made the posters, so we have those are ready to go. That's headed out March 1st. But otherwise, those are like the little things. I don't know if there are any questions. All right, the other thing is, and Emily can help me out with this, we met with Adam, MJ, Dan Kelleher about potentially considering possibly thinking about applying. Literally, that's the conversation, a DRI grant, which is a downtown revitalization initiative grant. There's two different options in New York Forward or DRI. They're very similar, but one's just a smaller amount of money and a slightly different process. And we're thinking of holding like a public meeting to gauge interest because it involves, the whole process involves like a decent amount of investment, like both like investment, but then like literal financial investment from people and businesses involved in the project, with those businesses down there, and any interested stakeholders. But we wanted to.
You mean like lining up developers that are ready to back a plan?
Yeah, but it's not about that, the state will spend $3,000 of your award with a third party consultant to come in and do that
Right.
later, if you get awarded the money. But what started me thinking about it was because the whole pro housing community was like there's no more money for housing, like the designation doesn't mean anything. Except that you get preferential treatment on these certain grant programs. And so I was like, well, right now, there's only 22 towns out of 940 that are certified as like this pro housing community. So now it's kind of like a really great time to ask for a DRI or New York Forward. So we set up the conversation with Adam DeSantis and MJ and Jay Keller, who's co-chair of the DMP committee, to talk about it. Because I have brought it up with Jim McKenna before, and because Jim's, so the DRI and New York Forward are both very, in the North Country Regional Economic Development Committee is very involved in that process. And so I asked Jim's input on this probably like a year ago, and Jim said, well, Lake Placid, it doesn't quite make sense for Lake Placid because Lake Placid already has an invigorated downtown. Because the whole idea is that you like reinvest, the state helps you reinvest in your downtown, it brings it back to so that was Jim's like original take on it. So then I asked Adam DeSantis to see if he would look at existing plans and that were, why is that doing?
Yeah, no.
It's very.
Somebody else trying to get in.
No, it's the recording thing that's like flickering. Adam DeSantis looked at other like plans that had won the award and to see if they were technically their downtowns or was it some other delineated space? Because my thought process, which we shared it to the group, was that if we can define our own downtown, then let's focus on either one or two locations, Mill Hill, like coming down and then over to the train station, like area to be defined, but like that section, which is like the historic downtown of North Elba, like that's where the hub of North Elba used to be, it wasn't up here. Yeah, And so that was, in the other section is Saranac Ave. So both like walkability, they both have sidewalks, they're just like extensions of our downtown. And they're maybe their own downtowns. After a lot of conversation, we decided that maybe the Saranac Avenue wasn't the right way to go because it's not exactly, like, if you think about physically how it looks and the businesses that are down there, it's not what New York State wants to invest in. Like, New York State wants to invest in the historical character of the downtown, which we'll call it Newman, has way more of, or the Bermuda Triangle, has way more of what New York State is looking for, plus it also has the rail trail, which the state has invested millions of dollars in, and so they have like a vested interest in improving this access point. So we, in the end, after a lot of conversation, we decided that we were just gonna go straight for that area. Sorry, Art Center, because the Art Center is very interested in this, because the Art Center is doing that major project. So we disregarded the Saranac Ave one, and we're just gonna focus on the Mill Hill area. And so we asked Haley if she would write a press release so that like gave like a little bit of a description about what New York Forward and DRI are. And like the whole point of either one of them is the state wants to see leveraged funds. And so you have to have, like, I have to have Lisa G's Land Lumber, you have to have those businesses say, yes, we're all for this, like, we will throw in our own private investment. And in the beginning, it doesn't need to be like financial backing, like you're not submitting bank statements or like a financial commitment. It just is a simple expression of interest. But if you get awarded it, then there's a whole review process with a local committee, with the consultants, and then it's much more of that, like projects get cut. And Jim did come in the end of the conversation and said, 9 times out of 10, the projects that are in the beginning of a DRI or New York Forward are not the ones at the end.
Okay.
But you need those ones in the beginning to throw up their hands and say, yes, we're interested to get the award. So the point of, we wanna have a meeting on March 19th, and if you guys are okay with it, we'll issue the press release, and I was gonna ask if we could have it at Lisa G's. Because the whole idea is this is very business oriented, it's private investment oriented, yes, there's $10 million of state money, or 4.5 million, depending which one to go for. But to have it, we're in a very business centric look, not here. And so if you're okay with that, I will reach out and ask that question, we'll release the press release. And I obviously I'm gonna have to talk to Mike Christian personally, but I would also ask Mike for some help, you know, talking to his neighbors. I would love to be able to get a hold of Andre Carl.
About Hurley's.
Yeah, and Hurley's is the other extent, as the other property, because I think you can go down Saranac or down Station Street. And that is a beautiful historic building that's in great shape that they don't know what they wanna do with. And then there's also of the 10 million, a certain portion of it is supposed to be for public use, meaning like infrastructure or parks. And so we talked a little bit about, like, there's 2 parks on Mill Pond, but the one that's closer, the walking from Station Street, if you were to be on the rail trail or riding your bike by, to improve that street, that park. And I talked a little bit about, like, I know the Arts Alliance would love to have an Olympic art park. So like we could maybe move all the Olympic art there, but either way, it's not a playground, it's like a park with some sort of historic element, because there's also this historic tie. I don't know, like, so there's, and my other thought would also be to ask Brad what infrastructure is needed there, because if there is a new sewer line that needs to be slip lined, if there, that can all be part of it. The public infrastructure part of it.
When did you propose this press release?
Whenever.
We
Yeah.
wanted to try and do the meeting before spring break, so we wanted to try to do the meeting on March 19th.
Okay,
So, but we're obviously not gonna do any of that if this board doesn't feel like that's a good direction to go, we don't wanna pursue one of these grants. And I still need to ask the village, cause.
No, I think it's great, and obviously, because when you said DRI, I'm looking at Saranac Lake and Cover Lake, which will each have one.
Yeah,
And looking at downtown, yeah, they do need it. We don't, yeah, we don't necessarily need it, but then thinking about that, yes.
and as we talked, it'd be a great way to bring the county in.
yeah, and so the other potential is the nice easy buildings.
Yes.
Which the county owns.
Yes.
And then that, so with your blessing, we'll move forward with the press release and the meetings. And then the application round usually comes out in June and it's due in September. And MJ was like, and it usually takes municipalities a year, like at least a year to prepare a DRI application. And so fair point that MJ made and that maybe we should wait till 25. But this is the other point, the other interesting thing about PRIs and New York corridors, or is that you oftentimes you're just standing in line. Like they literally just like, you kind of have to wait your turn,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Listen,
And-
some years they assess 2 years worth of applicants.
Yeah.
Before the money gets given
And,
out.
and as you pointed out, with our favorability,
But we have favored status right now.
right, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
so why wait?
So, where I might need to come back, if you wanna know the full truth, is that I do think at some point, if, like, we get a buy-in on this March 19th meeting, we have really interested parties like Lamb Lumber's there, Andre Carl's there, Station Street owners, the liquor store, everyone's, our deadlines, we like talked about like coming all the way up the hill. We don't know exactly how long our geographic boundary can be, but we'll put something together. If there is interest and we wanna move it forward, we can do some work, but at some point, we probably should hire a consultant to actually draft a plan. That's like a professional plan. And we conveniently, we already have a consultant that we have on board for other projects, so they're familiar with our community and what we're doing. So at some point, I could come back and ask for actual money for that. What's that?
So there we go.
Yeah.
That was the,
Because I don't think that, I don't
By the
think,
way, I'm almost out.
yeah,
Well, I'm still like my
leave
idea.
us a little buffer,
There,
okay?
you're not almost out, you are out.
No.
There's nobody left.
I like the idea of jackets and
All
leather
been
hats
committed.
instead of windows. Personally.
Yeah, it's all been committed. No, yes, it has. I'm telling you, it
I
has.
think almost 25,000. Yeah.
Didn't that get divvied out the other day?
What's that?
Didn't that get issued the other day?
46,000 did, but we were at 67,000. I'm.
wait, let's,
We'll have
well,
the back-
we're Happy's turn,
on
okay, it's
this.
Haley's turn right now.
Oh, yeah,
That's what it is.
And
yes, yeah.
wait, there was something else about it wasn't about about the plan, so Jim McKenna just said like, and you need a good plan. And I don't think that any of us, and that were in the room, have the ability to write a good plan. We can write a plan, we can use Bruce for some graphics and imagery, but it's not as strong as.
Who you got in mind, SE?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're
Yeah,
not
it's
there
not-
either,
Strong enough for you?
what's that? Yeah.
Your gal?
No, my friend chat. No, she can pull off a winter burial policy in no time.
That's all right. That's what lesson plans do.
Yeah, she also does not like to touch bylaws or articles of incorporation. So.
Yeah, you know,
So I just want to put all that in front of you, and then the last thing to talk about within that same conversation is that New York announced another round of restore funding. And restore funding, this is Haley, this is not Adam, is definitely mostly about demolishing.
It's demolishing.
Yes, we've got stuff to demolish.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, we do.
So let's go.
We have a lot of things to demolish. We'd love to see demolished.
Yeah,
Yeah, back to nice and easy.
yeah,
Yeah,
so,
that's number one.
yes.
Could have done this building. Save this.
I know, it's true.
There you go.
I've had more questions on a nice and easy building in the last
Me
month than
too.
I've ever had.
Yeah, so let's just take it down.
Yeah.
But I need Derek to make some magic happen with the county, and any chance you call.
I have not talked to.
So the two properties that I would have in mind would be nice and easy building, which, because you have to show some sort of municipal control, it's owned by the county. Or the 6 parcels are, and then Brandy Brook, and I don't know if we've talked about Brandy Brook with this board before, it's that little like decrepit
Yeah.
house by NBT in Saranac Lake, but on the
Oh,
top.
yeah,
of the
oh, yeah, okay, yes, I know.
Both of those need to be torn down. They're both owned by the county.
Yep.
And so we need either like a county permission to write this application, or so what I asked you to do was reach out to Anna Reynolds and Community Resources, who does the grant applications, to make sure, one, the county's not doing a restore. If they are, let's throw these in there. If they say, yes, we're doing a restore, but it's for the town, Jake, for this, we need Haley and Derek to smooth that over and say, do you mind if the town removes the rights restore application to tear down these 2 parcels that you own?
Anna Reynolds could write that through the county because they control Mill.
Yes, but when Adam's take on that was that Anna is very overwhelmed with the grant
Yeah.
application she's doing. And I actually think that Haley has a better track record. So I would prefer that North Elba review the application, and then I would also prefer that they gave the properties to North Elba. I guess earlier less about Brandy. But Brandy Brook can go on the landing. But either way, it's state money on the table to take down buildings. I think we should try and pursue it.
Sure.
Get it all wound up.
Yeah. And these are all things that she's wound up and she's gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's a good direction.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And who knows, but you gotta keep putting your applications in. and see what happens.
What were we talking about the other day to try to incorporate into the comprehensive plan for
West Valley.
West Valley sidewalk? Is there any language in there where that can come around?
Yeah, because I'm sure there's gonna, like, well, there's definitely gonna be transportation.
Absolutely,
section.
yeah, mobility and transportation, I think it's actually required within.
Good. Alright.
Where, speaking of sidewalks, Ken's gone, we can talk about it. Where are we on extending the old military sidewalk? Kind of,
What do you mean?
Remember,
It's in-
You mean from
it's
the
at the
elementary school
cemetery.
down towards the tracks, down towards the fire department?
no, the other way,
The others.
the other way, extend it. Somebody brought my attention that it would be nice, they walk that way, and how far does it go?
From Station
It
Street?
ends at Newman,
No, since it
when the
No,
next
it
before.
goes to the Olympic Training Center,
it does or doesn't?
just
It does,
before it.
Yeah,
Okay, to extend it,
that's Newman. Anyways.
that's
Yeah,
no.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, cause.
But isn't that county road or state?
That's county.
Okay, just to, you know, to extend it to, where was the conversation going? I think to extend it to Church Street.
Because there's a DOT grant program underway that Jim Dugan has applied to. I think it's $100,000 grant program to study sidewalks, signage, crosswalks and everything because of the rail trail coming.
Okay.
So that whole section is gonna be part of a study.
Because it would be
feasibility
nice
study.
because of the new, well, newer, I'll call it hospital. To extend it further so you could cross into the health center, whatever,
Yeah,
medical building. And E-line and everything. Because it does, I didn't realize it went to Newman, I didn't think it did.
I have a
Yes.
story.
So you have to cross the street and then there's just,
I was trying to get to the health center with my kids on bikes.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
yeah,
waiting for him.
There's a lot of foot.
The language, is it that story?
and mine came from a woman who, another lady who, she can barely see, but she walks that way. And if she could walk, she's saying, you know, if she can, she'd like to walk to the, you know, that's her exercise, to like the health center, she goes there quite a bit. And even to go around Church Street, et cetera. Granted, you could walk through the OTC, but that's a different matter. Yeah.
I'll bring up old
Does-
military
Yeah. Well, see, okay, it does then,
with the
okay.
county.
Yeah.
To
Cause if,
get to here, over here.
yeah, you can't even, yeah, it does stop right there, so you can't even get to the OTC.
Mm.
So if you get past the OTC and maybe to Church Street, then you could have an access here and access here.
Jason, do you think this is not recording or is recording?
It says
When it-
recording.
Yeah, but when it flashes, that recording thing goes away.
It's colored.
I think it might be
an internet thing.
It's your, you did your best efforts.
Doesn't it?
David's gonna be here tomorrow, we can have him take a look at it.
All right. What else you got?
That was it,
That's quite a bit.
anything else?
No, sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Guys.
Haley.
Thanks, sir.
All right.
That's more than usual, thank you.
Come on up, Todd.
Oh, yeah, that's the best.
Night night.
No, it's not that, you never, once in a while, give us good news.
I think I'm middle of the road today.
Okay, well, it's not bad news then, right?
I wasn't gonna say anything about this, but the last presentation makes me wanna say that I've talked to a neighbor of Robo who's been offered the property multiple times and it's contaminated underneath. And EPA just wants a cap on it, but it's been a very popular parking spot.
Yes.
It might be an opportune time to pick up a cheap piece of property for public reasons.
For parking.
It's being used for parking, it's got quite a view associated with it now, if there's no 7-Eleven sitting there. That's just an offhand comment, but you're also buying something with oil contamination on it, so,
Which means remediation would be on us.
or leave it capped.
Oh.
So
That's why there is a whirlwind paving operation. operation there this fall, right?
Yeah, that's why, and the fact
wonder-
that they did a good job of grading and everything, so it's
I
not
wonder
like,
if we could get the extent of it.
It's in the village though, you can put it on now.
Yeah,
We know where that
but I
goes.
mean,
yeah.
if it's extensive, then even a developer isn't gonna touch it.
Yeah, that's what Todd's saying, we should take it and cheap price and make it parking.
Yeah, you can even put those little.
And then get a
cones in
grant.
and those binoculars.
Or do we wait for the restaurant across the street? So now it's
Oh, they never,
taxable.
oh, they never will.
That's my source.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, that's that, they're, as long as they can
Have
say
it for
they've got,
nothing?
yeah, they can have it for nothing, it's great,
But
but
he's,
he's not gonna,
every day that there were workers there, he went over and got every piece of information he could.
Do you know in the listing, is there any guarantees or any statements like from DEC or environmental that leaving it capped is okay with them?
I have not researched this subject.
Okay,
And I didn't think I was gonna touch it until I
It's-
just heard about this
we're
section
looking
of
at
town
it.
getting fixed up.
Yeah, or else, well, it's a couple things, it's, I guess it's worth looking into, but also potentially including that piece in this.
both.
right,
Yeah.
DRI.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm taking two pieces because it's also two parking lots.
Yeah.
Different size, we got the lower
Oh,
one too.
that's true,
Yeah.
We got the lower one.
Can we meter them?
but it's all village, well.
It's
after we
village.
got it, yeah, then it'd be our money.
Yeah,
I guess
but
the lower, you don't know the finances, I was asking the lower levels.
I don't have an answer for you, I don't think so, but I don't have, in,
Is it subdivided?
Influence-
All kinds of questions.
influence flow downhill, and it's downhill from the mess, so.
and a lot of fluid went through there.
Yeah, yeah.
So back to my business.
Not to mention gas.
Exactly, mixed, on the water.
So it's exemption season. And Adirondack Mountain Club with their Heart Lake property traditionally has never asked for an exemption.
Say, I've asked you specifically before.
Well, someone talked to them and maybe they had some rearrangement in their board and their overseers. Long story short, they're seeking an exemption. That's at about 2.6 right now. Equivalent of $26,000 total taxation, all the different taxing.
What's their basis, 501?
Yeah, they are, that's
They're
why
probably
I,
C3.
Yes, yeah.
that's why I was appeased, they pay taxes.
Yeah, because they've gotten leaf grants in the past, so they're
Okay.
501c3s.
Well, on top of that, as you're aware, they just bought our Juman's place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're asking for
That's
that.
what brought my question.
They're asking for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I just read their applications, they're very straightforward, acceptable,
They qualify.
they totally qualify. So we're losing, almost $6 million tax base there. Can't do a thing about it, it's really not that big in the scope of a new home on Lake Placid, so.
But I'll tell you what, their attraction feature for revenue and sales tax and everything else.
They're half of our rezoned Dutcher around here, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Do we generate revenue from them, from their parking and everything?
well, just from the 6 million hikers that come here. And their influence on our economic.
Yeah, and we're generating revenue,
Well, because they have the access point, the main access point, like if they weren't there, they would still have them,
right?
the same hikers. It's not like they're drawing the hikers,
Right.
but they're just making the access points.
But they're also now one of the two cross-country skiing centers too. Which is generating income and therefore.
Yep.
Yes.
I
What's
mean,
it?
cross-country skiers are known to be the cheaper of our guests.
Oh, yeah.
They generally don't stay overnight, like,
Yeah,
they're,
yeah.
but I mean, there's nothing we can do, they're allowed to have.
What's the
exemption.
timeline for this transformation?
March 1's the deadline and I will be approving it by March 1.
So it will affect their September taxes.
First tax on this will be September.
Okay. Yep. It
That's,
is what it is.
that's just life, yeah.
So they should be able to pay,
Straightforward.
pave then, right, with all that saved money?
It
Should be able to pay from there, all the-
angrier about the road paving though, but
What's that?
makes you just angrier about the.
So we spent quite a fair amount of money,
Yeah.
very frugally and efficiently, However, there should be some reasonable expectation that they.
Well, as a hiker, it does ruffle my feathers to pay for parking in a state trailhead, but
Me too.
Yeah.
Now they know.
but that's why I
they're
go
working
to
on that, too.
quieter places now, so.
You just don't even.
If you get there early enough too, you know, there's nobody there.
Okay,
There's lots of ways around this stuff. It's your first time.
But then you're like.
Just make sure you're only carrying your rifle during deer season.
fair enough. So here's slightly grayer one is the hospital. Rick.
Retired.
But the last contract I looked at had your signature on it. Oh, long story short, they're leasing some space
Until it waters.
and the medical room,
Yeah.
the sports med. And so the question to me is the arbiter of this is, are those funds collected representative of something that just pays for carrying fees, you know, maintenance and et cetera. So far, my determination has been, yeah, that's not enough money to call them for profit. They obviously don't make money. So fine, but it gets a little more gray because of the emergency room situation being Sunset and Hudson Headwaters likely be in there. Still quasi hospital activity. And so I'm willing to say that the leases are generating enough money for carrying costs only. And therefore the whole hospital is still exempt. Otherwise, I got slash accounts on there, a sub account for Hudson Headwaters lease, sub account for sports management. But in looking at the amounts of money going by for sports med, it's not all that much money.
And
Don't they pay,
the lease amounts is what.
I suppose, the lease amount's supposed to be the going rate for square footage, is it not?
It's not excessive,
Really?
but you know, it's probably $4 a foot.
Really?
It's pretty cheap. Relatively speaking.
See, I thought it'd be like 16 to 19.
Because that was a big deal when they first were renting. So they had to pay going rate for that particular region, for our region.
But
Which is
then,
not $4.
well, what matters is within the grand scope of the hospital itself.
So how about the medical fitness center? Which is owned by the hospital, but it's not Medicaid medical space.
It can fit under the umbrella of hospital activity as far as real property taxation is concerned. Long story short, I don't want to create a PR nightmare by trying to tax part of the hospital.
I think people will be happy.
And I might be, might not be heard. I think they would.
You might be a hero.
They would be upset if we gave us.
You know, we're at the difference between justified moving either way, basically, and where are we ethically? I think that's basically what you're asking us.
As long as you're saying the lease amount is very reasonable and they're not making a gross amount of money off the lease, then I don't think.
That's a good quote.
It'll be interesting to see what the lease is for Hudson Headwaters versus Sportsmith, you know.
Now, Todd, I don't wanna throw a monkey wrench into it, but if you just cross the parking lot a little bit, and then the lease with Elderwood, realizing where we're at, this discussion we're having versus the hospital, can it come into play? On our ideology,
It's standalone and we're taxing 185, the Elderwood property. We're getting our money there, or we're going to once we win the lawsuit.
right? You see what I'm saying, though?
I think the lawsuit should be resolved before we make a decision regarding what you recommend.
Well, I consider them standalone issues.
Hospitals,
But
hospitals are not for profit.
what's that?
Hospitals are not for profit.
And that's why
And Elderwood.
Elderwood's
Elderwood
the
is
second
not.
piece of property.
Yeah.
On
Oh,
purpose.
I would say I formally disagree.
I didn't know if the lease figure fixed.
But you don't want Elderwood to pay taxes?
No, I formally disagree with the fact that like the hospital component of it.
Should we wait until we see what Hudson in the future with Hudson Headwaters, what they pay? as Rick said, per square foot.
No, because he has to make a decision.
As of March first,
I know,
Hudson Headwaters will not be a client, be a tenant.
right,
So he can't
I had-
base it on something that.
so-
but we haven't, but he's not making a decision.
So my judgment is on an unchanged property.
But can you delay that decision?
No, what existed on paper and in reality on March 1 is what gets taxed or not taxed.
Right.
So now,
Sports med
Once-
was the only component of this last year.
and it is.
And the judgment has been made.
Oh, okay.
It's still just a hospital,
Okay,
and
I got you.
I'm indicating to you guys, Gal, that I'm leaning towards leaving them alone
Okay.
because they don't make much money doing it.
No, I thought we were making, I'm sorry, I missed.
So next year at this time, when Hudson Headwaters is fully active.
Yeah.
Then you could, then you
It's
could,
worth a reevaluation.
right, then you could not, I thought, okay, I missed this
You,
series of
you
events.
thought Hudson was in.
No, I thought we were determining something, but it had already been determined. Okay, see, that's fine.
But without elaborating.
So right now, they're not getting an awful lot of money.
You're gonna lose the other
Sports
component.
Right.
They were the beating component, you're gonna lose next year.
Good deal.
1 year at a time.
Thank God, not one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It is hospital work.
Yeah, true, you're right.
Since we're in the neighborhood. Derek and I have been talking to council. Relative to a requested informal meeting, relative informal meeting between non-legal staff for Elderwood and Derek and I. To see what they have to say. My comment in talking to Derek about it is I want to be relatively silent in such a, I want to hear what they have to say before any commentary. I don't want to put any offers out there, but I would like to have them explain their way out of the difference between $500,000 and $15 million valuation of the facility. So I'm gonna sit down with them. I don't plan on us saying anything's gonna cause any trouble, and we've been asked by council not to
Right,
be controversial.
you wanna see if they'll slip up again.
Yeah, and just see if they're even in realistic realms right now, because 500,000 obviously wasn't a realistic attempt evaluation, so,
It's nowhere near 15.
nah, I guess not. So that's just a warning that we're gonna have this meeting and we might learn something, we may not.
Who initiates the meeting? Like,
They are lining it up,
okay,
council to council, but there won't be any council present. And there's already a caveat on there, I don't know if you got the last email.
Yeah.
That this is all just for discovery.
right.
Could be a very quiet meeting.
Yeah, they're asking for it, so sounds like they might have something to
Unless
say.
they're looking for something too.
Oh, yeah,
They're looking for you guys.
they're looking for the PACE endorsement,
Yeah.
so they can acquire $4.5 million.
Right, so they're looking, or just for you guys to talk
And
and
that's
hopefully say something you shouldn't,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which I'm not worried.
Yeah, I don't like talking if I don't have to,
So
so.
it's a. And walk in there, it's your meeting.
What do you got for us? So we were to exchange appraisals or submit appraisals on 3/29. And then about 18th of April, compare them officially. There may be an extension of 120 days if this meeting doesn't head us towards a quicker solution. So. Off on 185 old military, if we can be done with that. Hall, it's a property over on White Birch Lane, which is right off the peninsula. They sought valuation somewhere around 2.1 mil, 3.2. Next door to Duncan Winter's old place. So it's got really nice stuff on either side, and this is an okay place with a rocky shoreline. So put forth an offer of 2.9 for 3 years. So it's a $4,800 income loss. But not a refund or anything like that. We'll see if we get a positive response out of it. Jeez, oh, and VA exemption season. 166 senior exemptions, 121 renewals, 45 new. So remember, we adopted the new income strategy, which was to ignore all the non-taxable social security money. So that brought in 45 new people, and then some people aged into that. 12 people had basic star still, they got transferred to enhanced through aging in. 90 wholly exempt parcels, like the hospital and whatnot. Renewals, no new ones, and kind of agriculturals. Grand total 323 exemptions out there.
And agriculturals, are they
Dumont,
purely agricultural
you
or,
got Dumont and a few others
Okay.
like that.
okay,
North Country School grazes some sheep on some silviculture out by Round Pond. We're not losing any,
all right. Yeah, they're fields.
except for the ones that come right down to Round Pond and could be McMansions, but.
Water, yeah.
Oh, yeah, down in there, yeah.
Do you
But
think
that's not happening.
maybe raising, because we had stuck with that, are we thinking about raising it so we can maybe bring in more people for the following year?
Deb and I talking about this as we see them come in and witness who's getting them and what kind of
Because
socioeconomic.
you hate to squeeze them, and then when someone who rich is on the lake wants to like have their valuation dropped and.
To
You know,
just summarize the conclusions, we're glad we didn't change the limits at the same time we changed the way we count money. Because so many people were brought in, it's 45 new, and most of which would be accounted for by this new accounting income. So I think we did the right thing by not chasing after the limits yet.
But I'm just saying, maybe that's another way to kind of bring in some of those. The seniors that were like,
I think it's that thing we brought in the.
I'm politely saying that maybe we should bring in more.
I don't mind you guys discussing that. I'll go wherever you want with that. If you want the absolute limits in the law, I can relay them to you folks and do what you like with it. We'll still do
You put those numbers in front of us every fall, I think it is.
it.
Yeah,
You know, so right now, if you make more than
29, what's it?
39 per
39.4, okay.
without your non-taxable SSN money. And so, you know, we do a little review every once in a while and say, we think people that are getting it are worthy of getting it, and we're at a pretty good balance. There's always somebody who's $200 over, sorry. Wherever you draw a line,
There's
There's
always somebody
those
who's gonna
lines every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've grown pretty good.
Yeah, I think 40.
Yeah.
It's a good start,
Yeah, yeah,
from my perspective,
You're not
for
gonna
the
get there.
record.
Yeah, I got my here.
really, just the education, getting people to realize what they're
Sure.
available to. is
Sure.
half the problem.
But I just says this is one of those, people are starting to feel crunched, this is another where we're not really losing a lot of money either, that we can
Right,
bring more people in, so.
good.
pending any questions, I'll wrap it up.
Oh, that's good. I think back to Elderwood, just to remind you, the original assessment, 6.2. And we encountered at
4.05.
4.05. It was rejected, so we've made good efforts along the way. So, to have them wanna come back and talk informally, I think is a good sign.
Yes.
And I think they want their liquidity loan more than anything else.
Yeah,
Do we want to play with them? I don't know. You know, we've got a former president in court for the same exact thing. So I don't know.
yeah.
So, make of that what you will.
Same scenario,
Inflate it to get a loan.
yeah.
I mean, that's part of New York State business practice, so whatever.
Yeah.
No,
But is that us to police?
Not me, I'm just an assessor.
as I was like,
You got it.
We'll get, perhaps we could get together with Jason and reach an agreement 39.
No.
It's a lot,
It is, it's a lot of money.
because it excludes some street.
You're taking it, you know, it's really tiring. That's.
I'm all right, this chair is broken. It's broken. The wheel, the things on the bottom are not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Someone making $70,000.
This is
So I have I did not make photocopies, so you guys are gonna have to pass them around. There are 6 different styles of new letterhead.
Did you pass this by
For-
Bruce?
What's that?
I was in on this already, so.
I don't talk to Ruth. Cause they can't be bothered to talk to me.
Different
So
styles.
those are 6 different versions of proposed letterhead for discussion, for review, for markup, whatever you want. Emily and I have a favorite.
Well, that's all that matters then, right?
I say keep it as simple as possible, but
I'm fine with that one. Who's best?
Which one's got your name on top? That's probably the one you like, right?
Well, it was above Rick, that's all I'm.
Yeah, so we were thinking of getting really involved.
yeah, so my preference personally would be to not put anybody's names on the letterhead because it just. We have stacks of letterhead that are out of date. We don't like to use them when somebody's left and they're no longer, Here.
Know that 1 year,
you know?
6 months.
And so the issue I have when Rose and I have to order letterhead is we're always guessing how much letterhead should we order based on how long somebody may or may not be here. And we end up either spending more money for a smaller amount, you know, because the cost of letterhead is cheaper if you, per sheet if you order more. But then you don't wanna have 2 or 3 or 5 reams of it sitting around either.
Well, I'll just throw this out, okay, this may not be an important factor at all, but if we just include the elected officials on there,
I mean, there is that option.
then we would know, you could, yes.
The elected officials are the ones that cause most of the issue though for me with the,
But
you
no, I
know,
mean, you would know, I got
Yeah.
a timeframe. It's whatever.
I mean, it's, you guys are the
I'm just
board,
saying,
you
I'm
make
just-
the decision, I just need.
I'm just throwing it out,
Right.
that's one.
I'm so confused that you order paper that, like this.
No, it's on bound paper.
Yeah.
It's printed,
It's
the
like
letter, these are
letters.
just drafts that
Yeah.
I printed off on my copier, okay?
Yeah, you're
But
right.
we just
Right.
can't, like, do we need, like, bond paper, is there like, I don't understand why we can't just have a template inside a computer
we
and then you
do.
just add it on and
We
print
do,
it out.
the letterhead is nicer than that. It's like a heavier print and a quality.
Well, can it be a basic
Right.
with a template that has
Yeah.
the names that print on everything?
We
Yeah, it's just
can, I
not gonna
mean,
be
it's,
as nice, it's not gonna be as nice.
I feel like this is probably not quite a big deal.
No.
Like,
Oh,
are we saving?
regardless of
couple
whether we
$100.
print it off of our computers or we have a firm print it for us, I still need a decision from you guys as to what one you want to use. So that's the question at this time. And it doesn't have to be made right now, but the sooner you guys make
I
a
like that.
decision, the
I feel
better.
the pressure.
Me too.
So,
I
so
don't expect
I-
a workshop.
from a clerical point of view, this one, and this one don't really work, because if you want to put a letter and a window envelope, they don't line up easily. It makes them awkward for holding it, and granted, I know there's not a lot of letters that go out in window envelopes, but there are some.
KISS method.
Yep.
I mean, it comes down to, do we want position names on it?
I would ask them to put the names in the smaller font. I think the font that they use for the names is too big.
I mean, I think that it says something when they send something out. When we do send something out, depending upon what department, that the people are on it.
It makes it
It
more
does, it
efficient,
does, so.
from my perspective.
So can we just like say no to these? No, I'm asking.
It seems kind of plain.
Yeah, that's the point.
And which are any of these typed rightly,
Or,
This one?
I'm sorry, that one would be
more so?
more so, but if it were my preference would be to keep it like this and move these over here
Mhm.
and make it just a little bit narrower or smaller print so that you could put your date, your window, your address and stuff here and it would line up better with professional letters.
I think this one, I think this down here,
No.
I don't think we need that, you know.
I think it's cool. I'm not really coming around a little, but I'm trying really hard. I'm like-
So more is better?
I'm just trying to be supportive, you know?
Yeah, well, you're just not working.
Okay, let's do it.
It's not working.
You don't buy one.
So this is it, and this is basically what we have now.
Yeah, the
This is-
again, the font is a little bit bigger and the address on our current letterhead, the bottom there, the
Yeah.
address, all that is up top, which makes it.
Is this paying?
Good. Just get on your.
No, Emily's always right.
Totally different opinion, like,
Yeah.
Kathy and I like the ones
Check
that
your-
don't
check-
have our name.
Go check Facebook for a few minutes, okay?
That's all good. So while they're,
Somebody's face.
while they're doing that, I
Yes,
just wanted to
that's
bring up, so Zach never responded to my email that I sent him about the Lake Placid Youth Athletic Association.
This is a good point, because this ties into the county meeting that Emily couldn't attend. But there's 3 sources of funding from the Office of Family and Child Services that they want towns to apply for, and I'll give you the information. But that wouldn't, to get the $500 from that goes to our summer program, which Chelsea would run. The other ones would be the ones that we'd have to facilitate with the Lake Placid Youth Association. And when I had this conversation with Dee at the county, it was like the people that we were giving money to, our organization weren't even taking the money that we were.
Right,
giving.
right.
So how are they gonna apply for a grant? Which is like
Yeah.
several $1000s that they can get for uniforms and infrastructure and whatnot.
Sure,
Right.
So like, do we apply for the grants on their behalf?
I don't believe we can.
You
Yeah.
know,
So-
I'm not saying. I
I
wouldn't
think
do
we
it.
share the information with them
Yeah.
and say.
You
So
see, it-
I-
we just,
I sent that email to Joshua Dan too, who I was told was the person for the Sarah Placid Hockey Association.
yeah,
Neither one of them have replied to me, so.
right, and I'll tell you who's
But
helped me
who's-
try
who's
to
this
understand it is Matt St. Louis.
Matt.
He's tied in as coach. He works with them both, and apparently there is still the youth
Yeah.
organization. Who, like you've proven, haven't applied for funding since 2016.
Another
Yes,
one,
Zach submitted the letter this year.
Right.
So
No.
Zach, yes, he did.
No, he
He
didn't, no, not to me, I never saw it.
Zach submitted, I helped him, like, I actually helped him.
But did he ever send?
For the Lake Placid Youth Athletic Association.
Yes.
Yeah.
I never saw it, never seen it to
We
the
put-
budget.
We put Zach, and we put,
It's
and
not
I
in the
put Zach
budget.
in the budget, yes, it is, look on the meeting line, you can see.
It's not in the budget.
Please,
This
don't
is it, right here,
like, I swear to God.
right here,
It was sent to
Sarah
me.
Placid
Also,
Hockey
there's something
Association.
It's true.
We put 6,000 in for the Sarah Placid Hockey Association to replace the Lake Placid Youth Athletic and the Saranac Lake Pee Wee. Because neither one of those have asked for funds since 2016.
See, everybody started combining, that's when it got confusing.
And so Derek and I discussed this, we said to Zach, I sent him an email, and I CC'd Derek on it, and I also sent it to this Joshua Dan, I said, you know, there's a little confusion, Lake Placid Youth Athletic Association has not requested funds from the town since 2016. A gentleman named Joshua Dan from Sarah Placid Hockey Association did request funding, and we put them in the budget. Derek was under the impression that you're associated with the Sarah Placid Hockey Association. I asked him to please confirm that that was the case, and I have not heard back from either of them.
So I 100% know that Zach submitted a letter.
I back you up.
I don't,
Like, we
Because I
got,
saw it.
yes, we got a folder of letters and probably like beta, like I had so many conversations with Zach because he took over as president and we talked about how like. They had not collected
Alright.
their money, but he said, I think he gave the letter to you. I just pulled up from my email and I can't find it, but
I must have been having a bad day
No,
that day.
but I'm not sure that I didn't make sure that it was on the community line,
So-
because Zach talks to me probably every day during my
Okay,
meeting to make sure
Well,
it's in there.
it can be fixed. Look at this guy Joshua Dan hasn't gotten back to me. So when I tell you
We have to
this.
split it. Exactly. Yeah.
I know why Josh hasn't responded to you. He's a Saranac Lake High School principal,
Yeah.
and
principal?
he had an emergency surgery about a week and a half ago.
Okay, that sucks.
But these are.
That would,
But it's-
no, that would account for it because I sent the email on February 14th, so,
Oh, okay.
yeah, no.
And listen, this isn't an issue whether we're gonna support these kids or not.
100%, this, okay, I'm not behind it, but we.
I have zero evidence, however. I'm 100% positive, but I can't.
I have emailed a message.
I tell them my work all the time.
This is an easy fix. We just need a budget amendment from the
I wrote
board
this
saying
Zach,
we're gonna
Zach
give
said, no,
this.
thanks, I already have a letter drafted and I dropped it off on Derek's desk. But what we agreed to was to split the money.
So 3,000 to Lakeside and you 3,000.
Cause one operates in the winter and the other operates in the summer.
Okay,
Yes, and they are still joined together, it's just that Josh Dan now heads up the hockey because it's merged.
all right.
Zach does.
Now we're getting the hard copies out.
I went through my copies too, and this is all I could find. I could not find a letter from that.
So what do we think, but he's looking for that.
So which one of the youth association needs to be communicated with in order
Zach.
to?
But I have
I'm
talked
saying-
to Zach and like about this since.
But of course, their
I'm just saying-
sister just passed away, so
Yeah,
they're.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm coming.
I'm just,
But if it's not good.
I
if it's one of those, like, if Helly could write it and then just pass it on to the youth association, like, so these grants for the county, for the uniform.
oh, you're talking about the money that's available.
Okay.
But it's part of an overall issue of not maximizing the money.
Right.
Together.
But for the 6,000 that we have in our budget, I'll reach out to Matt tomorrow or Chelsea, whoever, and I'll
Another
say,
one knowledgeable in that situation is Lee.
Joplin?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll start with Matt, cause he's pretty.
Oh, yeah, no,
he's-
your response, just give me names, that's all.
So, but that's the decision is that you guys made, you 3,000 will go to Lake Placid Youth Athletic Association via Zach. And I'll get Matt to give me his updated contact, and 3,000 for the Sarah Placid Hockey Association.
See that?
Right.
That wasn't that hard.
Yes, but I'm just saying that there's a whole communication meeting exactly. I asked for money, I submitted the letter, I dropped it off.
It's fine, it's not, it's all good.
Yeah.
So, this is the one that you guys like,
Yeah, all three of us.
right?
We love it, we don't just like it, we
You're-
love it.
So, question for you. Do you want it small or larger?
The names.
The logo.
I will defer to you.
Yes.
Oh, small logo, big names?
No, these, I'm going to ask them to make all of these like just a little bit smaller font, because this seems like it takes up a whole
And you're
part of
gonna
the
move to
page.
the other side, so you can still do it visually.
Well, do you want me to ask them to do that? I'll ask them to do it in our mock.
If it does,
No, that move it one side or the other.
these two right here.
I feel
Say
it
the ones-
discombobulates me having
Yeah.
other than
Darcy, I
right.
think it on
than
a small
the-
font, yeah, cause they're new.
Yeah.
Real small.
We don't know what I was thinking about.
All right, yeah, no, I'll have them redo it, I'll have it be,
His names are in here.
Yeah.
She's hers.
I'll have them make this size,
We wanna make it smaller font.
make that, I'll make this size, have them make
Yeah,
a draft
sure.
of that.
I mean, do you have
Move
another
this
name you
over
wanna
here to
put
this
on
side,
No.
Move this entire.
the whole
column
column over, is that,
You
you
don't
guys
tell
okay
me
with that?
Flop it and make.
My middle name is Phil.
And make the logo and name.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not.
so we'll make these
I like
smaller
drop my
font,
middle name.
make this a larger font.
Over.
Switch.
Like a picture?
Yeah.
I'll ask them to make those changes and I'll send it out via email for you guys.
Say, what was the original?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so black flag control pay scale, is that something that we can talk about now?
Yes.
So he has the full crew, but the
Now
rates
you're
are,
gonna get 'em.
the rates are a little bit higher than what we originally put in the budget, so I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that towards the end of their season, we'll probably be looking.
How
for-
much, do you have a number? I mean, a
There,
percentage, how much?
we're looking at like an average of $1.50 to $2 an hour more for the returning guys. And the new guys, where he normally would start them at $17 or $18 are at 22
like we did for seasonal skill.
Oh, yeah, no, no.
Yeah.
no.
Here's what we were looking at. We were looking at running a program with 2 full-time
Yeah.
and 3 part-time. It was almost impossible. In the last minute, he talked 2 younger people that still have to go through the certification.
So we're
And they're coming.
talking, we're talking about like a, no, off the top of my head, like a 15% increase.
I mean, it depends on the hours they put in, you know,
I'm just going.
so, yeah. I mean, their budget was over budget for wages last season
Yeah.
for the same reason, it was.
I'm just saying,
it
it's
was-
about a,
They
if
worked
you look
more,
on a per hour basis, not a total, we're
right,
talking about 15% increase.
right, so anyway, I just wanted
Just
to
you'll have a bunch.
give you a heads up on that.
Yeah.
Performance.
I did respond to Ivan on that, I see Steve, you want.
I wanna see the metrics on that
Yeah,
one.
measure them both by per person.
Oh, it came from his iCloud?
But he sent it to your Yahoo instead of to your North Alba.
Oh, I know, and I had to. I had to forward it.
Yeah.
We should have
I
more
have
income.
to get the paperwork for the signatory stuff done, are you available this week? Okay,
I may not be coming out of the house tomorrow, but.
I know, right, it's gonna be I just need you to come to me
Whatever.
and whenever you have time to sign your stuff, and then I'll take this up to MBT Bank, and then you have to go there and do it
Okay.
with them.
I did give you a key, didn't I?
To your house? Yeah.
Yeah, you can have one of them too.
And there's no liquor cabinet, it's all right there, don't worry.
Oh, yeah, art, yeah. All right,
You didn't
I'm
notice that.
still
on
working on the
last-
annual, I'm still working on the annual report and trying to keep the current books up to date
You
while
have
I'm
a
doing
deadline,
that, so.
you know?
It has to be filed by March 31st,
Okay,
so I'll have it, I have it 85% done,
okay.
but I need to get my current books up to date. In order to make sure that there aren't any reconciling items that need to be adjusted out of this year's books and into last year's and vice versa.
I don't know the time of
Approvals.
year when you're gonna come back at us with this, computers and.
Oh, yes,
programs.
the computers.
I'm telling you what, we need to get
What
it,
do you guys have?
well,
Yeah.
you know, I don't wanna spend a whole lot of time today, but, this BAS.
Yes,
program-
well, I don't know if it's the BAS program that's causing the issue, but Adrian and I think that it could be a factor. So we're not sure if this is all interrelated or not. It could just be a spot of bad luck for Adrian. When her computer that she was working on died, that was because the power supply went bad.
Okay.
When the power supply went bad, we contacted Twin State, cause there are IT people. And we said, we have an old machine that came out of Todd's office. That you can put the hard drive into that one, and when they did that. The hard drive was asking for a BitLocker key. So the guy sat here for, I don't know, 3-4 hours that morning, couldn't get into it. I didn't have it, cause I didn't set up the computers. They didn't have it. They took the computer, the old one, back with them to their offices. They kept it for a week. And they were unable to get into the BitLocker. So, all right, fine, whatever. Don't spend any more time on it. We're just gonna go forward with the new computer. The new computer lasted for about a week. And then it just decided it wasn't gonna work.
This is a new computer.
Brand spanking new computer has, we believe, a bad sector on the hard drive, which is causing the problem. So Dell's replacing it. We've got the next new one in there, came in today. In the meantime, when the computer that went bad, the one that she's got right now, BitLocker thing came up again, wanted BitLocker again, just like the old one. It's a Microsoft thing that they do with the new computers. So on the screen, it comes up this blue screen that says, enter your recovery key here. And underneath that, it says, this is how you get your recovery key. Right? So I'm on phone Twin State, talking to some customer service girl, didn't know what she's doing. I told her, I said, give me somebody who knows something, right? Not exactly like that, but I wasn't being very PC. So anyway, I got one of their techs on the phone and I told her, I said, this, and she said, oh, well, we don't put BitLocker on the computers, we don't, we use it here, but we don't do it for our clients, I'm like. Whatever, okay, so we just hung up. Took me 5 minutes to go upstairs, use Adrian's email to get the BitLocker recovery key. Came down and not only did I get the current BitLocker recovery key for this computer, I also have the BitLocker one for the old computer. So David's gonna be in here tomorrow, he's gonna see if he can't get something from it with those keys. Unfortunately, the BitLocker recovery key. Because that computer's got a bad sector on the hard drive, or there's something going on with that, it's getting stuck in that cycle where we can't get past that. It says it's recovering and then it just freezes up. But we're hoping he'll be able to use the other older one to get the BAS data off that computer. It's just bad luck. But bottom line is, Twin State had that computer for a week. I got the key in 5 minutes. So.
What worth are they?
Exactly.
What the moral of the story is.
We pay about $2,600 a month.
Too much. Some of the money that we pay them is for the maintenance and the service agreement for the phone system.
Yeah,
For that, they're good. The guys that work on that side of the house, I have no problems with them at all. Their IT side,
So
I wanna talk to David tomorrow. I wanna ask him, and then Jason, you said you had somebody from the school who would also be willing to do like a just
An assessment.
discussion with us, an assessment.
He's helped cleaning up.
Ask him what he would recommend to move away from the IT side of things with Twin State, and if he can help us out, or if he can recommend somebody else who can do it. For backup, for patches, for maintenance of the computers, setting up the computers, making sure that it's all recoverable.
Right.
When we need to have it recoverable. And then move forward with trying to get out of Twin State.
is Twin State, is the contractor, are they joined, the two?
They're
IT and-
they're
Okay.
they're separate.
Okay.
I mean, I feel bad because I was the one that pushed to go with Twin State when we first went with them, but when we first went to them, Robert worked with them. So,
all changes.
yeah.
Good, sorry to.
So when it
digress, but
yeah.
it's worth going.
And so yeah, so on. As a hook into that, I did buy a second PC. We were gonna have like one on hand, but. What I bought to be on hand was a laptop, not
So that makes sense to me.
not a hard, not a, not.
Put it up and make sure.
The laptop isn't here yet. The
Okay.
laptop's not here yet. David will be here tomorrow to do the desktop part of that.
Okay,
So I just wanted to let you know that our plan is to have the laptop so that. If something happens like this again, an individual can use, cause I think a lot of our programming now is cloud-based, like in your office, it's all cloud-based, in my office, it's 95% cloud-based. In their office, none of it's cloud-based.
as long as he comes in and he gets it set up and
It can
verifies
be
it's
cycled
fine.
around for word processing, Excel spreadsheets, internet access to get into the cloud-based program.
But no, I was just saying, you don't wanna leave it in the box until something breaks. and
Oh,
put it in there.
Oh, yeah, we'll have David get it all up and running, and we'll probably have to have a generic town North Elba account for Microsoft 365 so that they can, have the program all available.
David can't do what Twin State's doing.
We're gonna talk to him tomorrow about it. We're gonna see what he is capable of doing and if he has recommendations.
Do you know who does the village? Scott Wilson, do you know Scott?
No.
Well, he was with Illuminating Concepts. I don't know if that's still,
I think it is.
so, cause
It's his company.
yeah. So going back to the BAS part though, we don't know if the BAS program is an issue or not with those with the crashing, but that's the program that they rely on the most for entering in all the cash receipts, the dog licensing, all that stuff.
And it is not.
It's not cloud-based. So
I mean,
it has to be
can't they-
physically backed up. She has to physically back it up every night.
What if it's
Dave
not-
can run diagnostics on that, can't he?
I don't know. We can ask them. We can ask them. I just, BAS is a very old platform program.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause that's
It
what
runs
the
with
state-
an access database. Thing, it is Edmunds GovTech, which is the company that bought MyLogix.
Yeah.
They own that.
Cause it hasn't been updated,
They're not gonna update it. They're trying to get people to move off of it.
so maybe that's, cause that may be not compatible with Windows 10 or 11, and that's.
That was what Adrian and I were thinking might be an issue, so we'll have David look into that if he can, so anyway, that's all I've got,
That's enough.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. 5 minutes before overtime kicks in.
I'm gonna get over to you.
Wait, don't you have a calendar where you're writing?
Dave, you might wanna grab that. Working here.
Are you guys talking about?
Broken?
While you're here?
They need here, I thought I was.
Yes, we can do that first.
Emily, are you taking? Sure.
No, Brenda is.
What's that?
You got kids, though, so you don't have kids.
Or I might have to.
So listen, as you know, we just got an email from Mike that his last day now is March 7th.
Yes.
And then whatever vacation time he has, Kathy will pay him out. I wanted them to be last today so we could talk about the, let's call it the transfer of power. Both for Darcy and for Dave moving. Because with Friday being March 1st, it ends the payroll week, it works out good for you, doesn't it? But we kind of, I guess unofficially here, because it's a work session, I need you all to be okay with that scenario. I mean, we've talked about it for, well, since Mike came up missing, so. And with that said, I mean, it changes pay scales, of course, for both of them. And, you know, we budgeted to keep everything in line, so it's really just a formality. So certainly if there's any further talk on that, I plan to have this transition take place. And maybe it's tomorrow, I don't know what date.
For payroll, it doesn't make a difference to me.
Okay,
It doesn't at all. I think it would be appropriate, from my point of view, that you all make it at least official at the board meeting, but you
Oh.
can make it, you can back it and take
I'll
a date.
put that on the agenda,
Yeah.
so it's an official resolution.
Yeah,
Uh,
but you could backdate it to any start date you want.
Okay. So in any respect, is there any further comment on moving in that direction?
I was gonna ask Darcy and David how they feel about that transition, like with Mike still being there, is it gonna be awkward or are we fine, it'll be 6 days of where things are,
It's down to 4 days, cause he has other time off.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. No, it's fine.
Okay.
We've all been talking about it for a long time, I feel like, so
I mean,
all of a sudden it's here.
and it makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess on an informal thing, I'd like to say. Give your keys. I have my keys, thank you.
Bye.
You know, maybe let me, Emily, you see her all the time, or any of us should cross paths, was what day would work out for us to do a little send off? I don't wanna forget Mike, there's certainly been a
Right.
lot of history since he's been here,
Yeah,
and I think he deserves some recognition in leaving.
I didn't get back to you, we kind of just decided in the office, so next Thursday, March 7th is his last day. We in the office and everyone is invited unless you wanna do something grander scale. It's both birthday and retirement,
Okay,
so we were already talking about like, let's get some kind of cake or
I'll get
something.
together with you for contribution,
Okay,
alright,
so,
good,
yeah, first
so next Thursday,
Thursday morning,
alright.
9:15. Be ready for cake.
Wow. That's really a start.
I know,
I'll bring the Irish.
yeah, next Thursday,
No, that's good,
yeah.
so for those logistics, is that all you need?
The only other thing I would need to know is what you all decide to set for pay scale.
I thought we assumed. Should we talk about that? I figured it was Dave moving into Darcy, Darcy moving into Mike's.
I mean, and if the board is okay with that, then that's, I just need to know.
I thought we,
You guys-
did we already decide?
I think we were still discussing.
Oh,
Yeah, so you, I mean, I told
We discussed
David
this.
to write a request. I don't know if he did.
I think we.
Okay,
How about candidates for Dave's job?
We have two,
Doing both jobs.
He wants to get paid twice.
Emily, we do have,
Third one.
no, we have a meeting set up next Tuesday, March 5th at 10 a.m. Are you available for that one?
Yes.
Okay, and the other person, we're waiting to hear his availability with his schedule.
So you have two candidates?
Two candidates.
one with the right last name.
Yeah.
It starts with a W.
It does.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah, and next letter's an R. and- yeah.
And you don't know either one?
I do personally know one
One.
of them.
You said 10 in March?
Yes.
Can I have this?
so no.
No, we're talking about something else.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, right,
Speaking in code,
that was the party.
That's what I thought.
The important one.
Yeah, that's what, why I took it as that.
It's gonna go all day.
I just put all day in. Yes.
All right,
Nay.
so then we'll be in touch.
Yeah, okay, so I don't need to hang around for anything else then.
No,
All right, have a
Thank
good night, everyone.
close that on your way out, please.
Don't forget your recording.
No,
There's a big lock.
that's all right.
we're getting into executive session now.
We're going.
Adrian told me that I didn't end the recording last time. so-
We do have a couple other things.
That's all right, we'll just.
Okay.
You just.
This
You didn't end the
will-
recording now.
Okay,
What did I do? I don't know what I did.
Do you wanna leave it on? while
Oh,
they do
sure,
it?
go ahead.
Okay,
Wait,
We're not in executive
so we
session.
have,
oh,
we
okay.
have two
One
things
minute.
that you last meeting had asked me about open house signs. So we did draft up a memo, if you will. So we currently do review it, right, on a case by case basis. I think the only other thing that would be that isn't in the code already is that we say it can be placed 1 hour prior to the open house and must be taken down 1 hour after.
And then this also means that people cannot put open house signs at the start of White Basin.
Correct.
And
Correct.
there's a,
Subject property.
Yeah. So Mike did tell me that he gave permission for on the Whiteface Club property, this was last year. Sort of as a wayfinding, so it's still all Whiteface Club property, there was one specific unit. So he said, sure, you can have it at the beginning of the Whiteface Inn property by the big sign in the mailboxes. As wayfinding to get into the actual unit,
but not on White.
but not at the beginning.
And every
you know,
100 feet. that-
no, no.
so then there is no provision here to put an off-premise sign.
Cause I thought that's what was
Correct.
discussed
Yeah, it
before, and I was like, but.
That's what I thought we were looking for lenience on.
So this is where Mike said, hey, I gave them permission, it's not on the subject property, the unit that's for sale. We said it's on the bigger club property, that was his, I'll say, off-premise part of it.
So let me give you an example, like if Interlochen was for sale, and a person wanted to put a sign out where Jackie Urban. or-
We would say no to that,
Okay,
It has to be on the subject property.
okay,
because, I mean, this day and age, you can pretty much get GPS directions to anywhere.
yeah,
So
so then really, there is no change in the.
the only thing different is about the 1 hour before and the 1 hour after. That's not printed in the code. That's just a policy that we are
Okay,
communicating
so
with
that's the
people
only
as.
real variance to this.
Yeah.
Okay,
But before, but what's different is that before there were no open house signs allowed, like that was just like, no, open, you can't have an open house sign.
okay.
And now they're saying you can't have an open house sign and these are what it's falling under.
Yes,
Has to be on the property,
Yeah.
okay.
No, how are we, this is gonna be something that we both have to vote on the village.
No, it already exists, it's 6.3.4,
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
So
except for the thing about. the-
signage, or,
That's what I'm
and I
saying.
don't even know where I saw it, but help wanted.
No. It's just
we
like
don't
a-
regulate help wanted signs.
I mean, it's one of those lawn signs
Mm,
that was stuck in the snowbank, and there are two of them,
yeah,
handwritten.
oh
look
yeah,
like
where did I see
shit.
that? I know that,
It's,
they
isn't
do.
it right down here somewhere?
We've got the two at Norm's too.
Yeah, I think
yes, that's what I
yeah,
saw.
office space.
Office space, yeah,
Those aren't regulated, per se?
they probably should only, they should have one there,
No, I just.
yeah. You're right, help wanted, we don't regulate,
Right.
so,
I
yeah,
have a random question that I thought of while you were at lunch today, so I couldn't ask it. Driving by the IJ, what is it about, like, have you noticed that he's like accumulating vehicles and
Well, he
like,
used to do that.
he's bringing all of his stuff back in from Potsdam.
so you
And
know what's going on?
yes.
Okay, and it's gonna be moved somewhere else?
into his garage that he's building out at his house.
He did this about 3 or 4 years ago. too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he like, I'm gonna say his lease or whatever ended with the Potsdam one, which is why he got permission from the review board to do this other garage at his property, and right, it's just a timing issue. So, yeah,
I just thought maybe he was like trying to block parking for
He,
these.
the last time he
No.
did, the last time he did it, he told me himself, that's why he did. it.
yes, but
About
now
4
he
years
seems to
ago.
be past that.
Yeah, he did,
Like,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so.
And for a while there, he would plow straight in.
Yeah.
With berms, and he
Yeah.
could park 2 cars. And that was his.
Derek, you asked me specifically about the shooting range and the
Yes.
Riggy property.
Yeah,
So I found, we had done a letter back in July of 2018 citing this specific section of the code that prohibits it. And right,
because of the zoning.
and right, so here's, it references what district it's allowed in. That's their property, they're clearly in town residential, and it states you can't have it there.
Okay, so for argument's sake, show me the color code where Fish and Game Club is.
Fish and game is. Let's look at this.
And I mean, I'm sure there's a grandfather.
They're
clause,
right.
But
Either
Gateway or Old Military.
Oh, sorry,
There's the river, so that's that. Yeah, there might be the old military corridor, cause right that's the ball field and then. Is the ball field then Fish and Game?
Yes.
Yeah, so then old military corridor,
which gives variance.
which that's a pre-existing, we're not even like looking at that, that's pre-existing, I
I'm
don't know.
trying to answer every question.
Mhm.
But-
It doesn't,
well,
they
so who
can't
brought
have
that
an
up?
old military corridor?
Freddie called me, half in the bag.
Yeah, the
On a
only
Saturday
places
night, I know
rural
Devin was sitting right
countryside
next to me.
with review
Gotcha,
board
yeah.
approval.
They want it reinstated.
So you can't.
Cause she has never said a word to me.
So-
Because when Ron was alive,
It's
he would bring it up
pre-existing.
periodically to me,
Yeah,
knowing nothing's gonna change.
okay,
And she has never, since he died, she has never mentioned it to me. And
okay,
she's had 50 opportunities to do it,
okay,
so,
good.
that's the thing.
But I couldn't answer until
Okay,
So then we have language in our code about pre-existing non-conforming uses.
yeah,
So it's allowed to continue, if it discontinues for more than 2 years, then they'd be done.
Yeah.
But it's a continuing use, so okay.
is that what discontinuance is, a 2-year?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep, if you cease to have
Yeah.
that same use for 2 years,
thanks for letting.
more
me
than
know.
2 years, then you're done. Okay, so we do have letters and documentation if you need any of that.
Good.
Anything else? I think that's it.
All right, so now I'd like to go into executive session. And it is personnel related. Solely, no contractual. I'll take a motion to go into executive
you got
session
it.
with code personnel.
For the entire session, or?
Yes, No, it'll be split. Personnel will be one, and I'm looking for an update from them on litigation, which gives us another
Is it-
avenue for.
Is that what it was flashing before? Or is that a new flashing?
That's a new, wait a minute,
It's a new flash.
that's a new flag.
It's,
And what
I
is there?
think you should restart.
David was looking at it.
is flickering.
Yeah, you should restart it next time. I would just cancel out the whole entire thing.
I don't, can I exit it?
Yeah, or go down and,
And then I'm gonna end it.
if it doesn't seem
Maybe I'm
right,
gonna end it.
go right. It's definitely tweaking. Next time, just go out to restart.